Okay, welcome. Welcome. All right,
Hello.
today is, hold on there, Faye, for posterity's sake,
Hi.
June 27th, 2023. And this is Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres, coming to you from Marion, Michigan. And I'm talking with my daughter in law, Faye Baker. So she's married to my son, Joe. And they live over in Cadillac. And we got plenty to talk about. I mean, we can talk about all kinds of stuff in the recent history, but I think we're supposed to be talking about raising a family on the homestead. I think that's the idea, whole family wholesomeness and all this stuff, like we're a bunch of prudes and stuff. But I think this would be fun for people to hear this from somebody like you that I want to tell the audience that Faye and Joe had made a decision to live what I would call sort of a minimalist lifestyle. Like they live in a yurt and they keep things really under control and just live very close to the ground. So I wanted to talk about that, and then we can go from there. There's lots to talk about. So how are you doing there, Faye?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, good. Loving
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. It was a
I would.
beautiful day today, other than the smoke. It's been beautiful.
Yeah. I don't know how other people are doing with this, but I've heard that it's a guy called me from Indiana. Actually, Kyle Miron called me today and he says, "What do you think of this smoke?" And I said, "You got it all the way down in Indiana." And he says, "Yeah, it's thick." So
Wow.
I don't
That's
know.
fast.
Where's it coming from? Do you know?
They say Canada wildfires. That's what I was told, but
Ah,
it seems like there just keeps getting more and more of them. But there's a couple people that I know that are like, is that really what's going on? It's pretty crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't believe anything anymore,
I know.
especially Canadian. I don't believe anything Canadian.
Right.
I could call my buddy Andy Wigston to see if he could tell me what's going on there in Canada. Okay, Declare Homestead saying smoky there too, but they're just a stone's throw down the road. How about you, Belva? What's going on down in Ohio? That's even a little further south. And Catachrome, I forget where Catachrome is from. I don't remember. Uh, you all could give us kind of a report of what's going on where. But while we're uh, while we're waiting on that, tell us about your journey so far. Tell us, you know, what your life is all about, and what was the threshold moment when you made. I mean, because you could have stayed in Cincinnati and you know got a bigger house. And what was the journey like for you, just to fill the people in?
It was a rough journey there for a while. Yeah, we lived in Ohio for a long time, and um, that was when I was still in school for naturopathy and herbal medicine. Joe was in school as well, and it was really toxic there. We always knew, Joe grew up on your farm. I grew up on a small little homestead in Michigan. Like we grew up really grounded and close to the earth and on farms with animals, and we always knew, like deep down, that we'd get back there, someday. But that's just kind of where life took us. But I want to delve into this a little later too, but just speaking from an energetic standpoint, like the big cities, just the amount of Wi-Fi, and I had terrible issues in Ohio with the amount of Wi-Fi. 5G wasn't even there at that point, and I had terrible brain fog and fatigue and all those things. So
Well,
um,
okay.
I as soon as we got there, I started having problems. Second weekend, and my mentor naturopath at that point had helped me out. Like, you're really reacting. Your sodium's really low. Your calcium's really low. The Wi-Fi is just zapping it out of you. And I was like, great, 2 weeks in, yippee. So pretty much ever since then, we were trying to, the end plan was to get back and to get out. And thank goodness Joe decided to do the van life, and we kind of started that a couple years later. But um, that was a really saving grace for a lot of ways, just to sell everything we had and get in the van, because it was just minimalist, and We both
Yeah.
were just craving it, and but it was good. Everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, why were you there? And do you think that was a mistake?" And I see everything as a lesson. You
Yeah.
go, you know, a lot of stuff happened, and whereas we were there, and it was terrible for a while. Just the concrete jungle and the negativity and the I won't say all the politics stuff that happened while we were there, but we were there in a weird time with the politics. And it was just
Yeah.
so cool, though. It was such a rough, terrible time. And then we went in the van, and it was like just this peaceful, just Joe and I in this little teeny van, and Foley, the dog, and it was just such a difference. And so it was really cool to see the difference and how just our energies changed, how much happier and healthier we felt. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't need all these supplements. And oh wow, we're out in the boonies of Wyoming. And there's not a cell tower out here. There's no Wi-Fi. Like, we barely have service. This is
Yeah.
so cool. And just to feel that difference that we felt. And that was before I had got it really into energy medicine that I do now. And I didn't really understand, like, well, was starting to understand, like, wow, this is such a difference, like, just in our being, just in my mood. Like, I don't feel rage right now for no reason.
Mm.
I'm not just sitting here in a daze wondering, why can't I think of anything? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just sitting here in my apartment, just zoned out. So
Yeah.
yeah, the van life minimalist transition was really cool for us in ways that we didn't really realize until, we were out. And then it was, people are like, well, are you going to get a house now? Are you going to, go back to Ohio? Are you going to, go to Ann Arbor? Where are you going to go? Are you going to get a house? And we're like, why would we can't move to a house now. That's huge. We need we need something small. So that's why we chose a yurt, because it was easy to put up in the winter. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
which, it's
Yeah.
put it up in a
I know.
day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just been a really cool journey.
Well, to kind of clarify, would you just round it out for our listeners, the van life?
Yeah.
Okay, sometimes they call that the nomad lifestyle. Can you kind of,
Mhm.
like, the time frame and what the equipment was, just to people get an idea, that you were
Yeah. So
completely
Joe
separated
bought.
from.
Yeah. So Joe, when we were in Cleveland, Joe spent the summer, so the summer of 2019, building out a ProMaster van, and Joe built it all. Um, the bed, the whole build. Just looked up some YouTube videos, figured it out, and I come home
Yeah.
one day and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he just had it all done. Like, all the wood, just figured it out, and it's beautiful. So he built that out, and then let's see. So the winter of 2020, COVID happened, and we ended up selling our house, and the van was about done. So
Yeah.
we moved back up here. And then by the spring of 2020, we were like, well, we're done hiding out in a house and being ridiculous, because we're not doing this anymore. And there's no one out. Everyone's hiding in their houses. So we might as well go do van life. So, and then we lived in the van and traveled around the country for about 2 years.
Yeah.
Just living in the van, just the three of
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. A lot of people would really like to do that. I think I want to do that one of these days. I keep threatening to do it. Well, you can come over here and take over the farm, and then let
Okay.
me have that van, and me and Joe will take off and ride around. I think I'd really like that. Okay, so then for you pursued education into what area? Tell us about your education.
Yeah. So I had at that point, when we were in the van, I'm a certified herbal consultant, so it's an herbalist. So I'm very big into herbs, tinctures, pulses, things like that. And Jill is like that as well, like really into
Yeah.
herbs and plants. And I also a certified natural health professional. So that's pretty much the basis, like, of being a naturopath. So it's just using alternative medicine rather than, oh no, I don't feel good, let me go to the urgent care. It's, what can I use, supplement wise, naturally wise, plant wise, diet wise, to fix the situation. And that was really good. And
Yeah.
it worked really well for a lot of things. But I am an empath, which means I'm very empathic and I'm very in tune with people's energies and emotions. And the emotional side was really lacking. And people were getting well physically, but including myself, like, there was a lot of things holding us back emotionally. Like, sure, I feel great physically now. My systems are being supported. We're eating, eating good, but emotionally and energetically, something was still off. And so that's what brought me to energy medicine, which is the protocol that I learned. It's called Body Code. And that is energy medicine, which is amazing. And it's kind of the missing link, in my opinion, because it's, especially with people that have had trauma, any kind of abuse of any kind, or just a really emotional person. Some of us are just really emotional and really sensitive. Some of us aren't, but some of us are. And it really just helps. And especially for the kids, which is what we're talking about today, kids and families. Like some of our kids are really sensitive and we don't even know because we're not teaching them how to deal with their emotions and feel simply because that's just not how people usually are, but there's every once in a while, there's like, if in big families, there's usually one kid that's really sensitive and people are, oh, she's just sensitive. Oh, he's just sensitive. But, there's a reason that they're reacting and that they're, having these reactions and sometimes health issues, and it's emotional or energetic. So it's really, really huge for homesteaders because we all want kids and we all, our kids are the next generation. So I feel like it's just amazing to be able to have that tool for your family, and not deal with constant meltdowns. And I don't know what you want. I don't know why you're screaming, it's always something. So body code has been really huge for helping kids and families. Yeah.
Okay. So you're using the body code is the energy healing.
Yes.
A
Yeah.
lot
So
of
it's
these
like,
terms, I think, are new to people. Even naturopathy is quite new to people. I just talked to a woman on the phone, and she had never heard that term in her
oh,
life.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So
Yeah. Which reminds
body
me.
code is the protocol that it's like the manual that I use to do the energy medicine on everyone's specific body. And it's
Okay.
just the tool, and it helps me decode what's going on in your body. So I use it with a process called muscle testing. So last time we talked a little about muscle testing. A lot of people do muscle testing on
Yeah.
themselves and their animals already. Not a lot of people can work on other people's just because it's confusing. But through muscle testing, we test your body specifically and see what's needed for your body, what's going on, where are you at? Yeah.
How does a person learn how to do that?
The muscle testing.
Yeah. How did
Um,
you learn?
um, that's a good question. So there's tons of YouTube videos out there about it. Some of them are really weird and some of them are really helpful. But the protocol of body code teaches you how to muscle test. But like I learned how to muscle test from a naturopath that was in our hometown years ago. Um, and it's just, you're just using a technique to test yourself, your body. You're just asking your body questions and asking for a response. So that's the cool thing that a lot of naturopaths or chiropractors will have you take a ton of supplements. Well, they're all really good for your body. They're supposed to be good for your body, but through muscle testing, by asking, is this product good for your body will say yes or say no. So you save a lot of money. You know what's best for your body. So muscle testing is awesome. And I teach a lot of people how to muscle test because it's really great for, I think we talked about this last time, like foods, you're about to drink a cup of coffee. Oh, should I put sugar in my coffee? Because my stress levels are already high. Should I put sugar? And your body says, no, you're already stressed out. You don't need any more sugar. And then you go, okay, cool. I'm not going to put sugar in my coffee today. So there's a lot of different ways. Or, oh, this fish looks really kind of suspect. Or this prosciutto is kind of weird. Does this have
Yeah.
bacteria in it? Like, is this not good for my body? Oh, yeah, my body says it doesn't want this. So you can avoid food poisoning.
Huh.
It's a really awesome tool, especially if you're making a lot of your own food.
Huh. You're gonna have to try that out when I'm in the checkout line and I'm looking at those Reese's peanut butter cups one of these days.
Yeah.
Do I really need those? I know it's gonna come back. Yes, I know it is.
Yes, of course it is. Yes. That corn
All
syrup
right.
and refined sugar, I'm sure it's going to say yes.
Yeah, right. It's not even what they say it is. All right. So we had a little incident the other day, and I think this is I want to ask you this because I don't really quite understand this. Okay. So what happened was me, Joe, Jim, Frank, Kyle, who else was there? Keith. We were over at Kyle's house and we were putting up some rafters, or we were putting up some let's see, what were they? Yeah, we were putting up rafters, and Jim was holding a long board. It was about 12 feet long, and he had it by the end. And as soon as the rafter went up, he lost control of it, and he had it in his hands, and it came down with a full force, and it hit me right here. And as soon as it hit me, I felt as though the bone was broken. And so I stood there for a minute, and then luckily Colleen came out and started talking to me about something. And so I just tried to maintain talking with her and being a big soldier and everything. But then after that, I called home and I said, I think I got a broken bone. Uh, should I mean, is our insurance going to cover if I go to urgent care to get this looked at? And I really didn't want to go. And Jill said, you should call Faye and ask her what is wrong with your arm. And so that was a better alternative. I really didn't want to call you because I didn't want to be a wuss, but I really didn't want to go to the hospital in Cadillac. I just don't have good luck there, and I avoid it if I can. So I called you, and could you take it from there? And then I want to ask you a couple questions.
Yeah. So this is another great way why you need this on the homestead, because accidents happen sometimes, right? Okay, so yeah, you called me. You said, I'm having some pain there. And so what I did, so you asked me, so then I have permission to work on your body. I can't work on anybody unless they give me permission to work on their body, because I'm testing you and it's a really specific personal thing. So I was like, okay, cool. I have Mark's permission. So I asked Mark's body. I said, okay, so Mark just had this accident, this injury. Where is this in the body? So then I open up my charts. Okay, so this is in all of the muscles in his arm. Okay, first it was the muscles in your arm. Okay, so I have my area. Okay, what do we need to clear? So energy medicine, what I do, body code, is clearing off of the body anything. So emotions, physical injury, in this case, a ton of inflammation and shock. Shock is a big one. And so so once I muscle test you and find, okay, we're finding inflammation. Okay, we're finding the emotion of shock. Okay, we're finding a physical trauma. I tell your body, okay, I'm gonna clear off of Mark's energy, all the inflammation that's right now that's in his arm muscles. Okay, and then I muscle test, did all this inflammation clear? Cool. Did the shock clear? And so then I'm going through and I'm clearing everything that I find in your arm muscles. And this is telling your body, and it goes through your subconscious. So I'm telling your subconscious, listen, this is what's going on. This is what you're telling me. There's inflammation, there's shock, there's physical trauma, there's all these emotions, because I'm sure you were like frustrated and angry. And, I'm sure there were a lot of feelings coming up, right? It was probably very frustrating to have a board fall on you. And all of those resonate in every part of the body. A body holds on to all those things, especially in times of any kind of stress. So they all gather to the area, and, histamine and lymph, everything will rush to the area and cause inflammation and any kind of injury. So I'm telling the body, while clearing off of you, listen, hey, we need to clear all of this from Mark's arm, or Mark's arm muscles, so it can heal. And once I cleared everything off of those arm muscles, I moved on. Okay, what else do we need to clear? We needed to clear your wrist bone. Okay, so your wrist bone was the next area that we needed to clear. And there was misalignments. So things had been misaligned, whether it was probably just from the trauma. So that's similar to like what chiropractors do. They realign things physically, energetically, and emotionally. There can be misalignments anywhere in the body, which just means it's put out of place, it's messed up, it's just triggered somehow. So I just went through every part of your arm that your body told me, and told your body to clear it through the energy medicine. And it's a little, I think what you guys would say is woo woo, and people are like, okay, that sounds really weird. Yeah, it does. And it's weird. But it's not, because this is a very, very old practice that people long ago had, that, I really think that society and, our, government and everything has hidden, because they don't want us to be able to heal ourselves. They don't want us to be able to understand that our bodies are unique, wonderful things that actually can heal ourselves. We all have the ability to heal every part of our body. We just don't know how. So what this does, so I usually don't like to ask, is your arm broken? Because sometimes you should just go to the urgent care. You probably should have gone to the urgent care. I know Kyle wanted you to go, but it's not how it worked out. But I can't, I can't fix a broken bone. So if your bone was broken, I can't be like, all right, Mark's bone, reheal real quick. But I can
Ew.
tell your body, hey, this is what's going on in this area. Here's how to fix it, and here's what to do. So it kind of just tells your body what to do in that situation with that trauma. Um, and then also afterwards, I gave you CBD. Which, had you
Yeah.
ever taken CBD before?
Nope.
No. Okay. Yeah. So, and CBD is amazing for pain, and I have a really good brand that we use. That's really, really good for pain. It's very, very strong. And a lot of people take CBD and say, I didn't feel anything. And that's because they're not taking enough. You kind of have to take quite a bit of it. But another awesome thing. So I muscle tested your body and said, what does his body need? Herbal, like what herb, what supplement, what nutrient does he need to put ice on it? Does he need to put heat on it? And your body said it wanted CBD. And everything in life is energy. Okay. So herbs are energy. The ground is energy. We are energy. Everything is energy. And people think that's weird, but it's true. Any scientist will tell you that. And each herb and each plant has an energetic signature, and our bodies know what it needs. So in this situation, your body said, I want CBD. And it could have been for the pain, but also CBD helps with inflammation. It helps with your endocannabinoid system. It helps with a lot of other things that we don't even know it's doing. But we just say, oh, cool, it takes the pain away. But it's really good for those kind of trauma situations, letting your body relax, take a breath, not be like, oh no, is it broken? Oh, have all that stress and all that trauma, and just let the body do what it does. So a lot of people are, well, I don't want to take any supplements. I don't want to, in this situation, I'll just let the body heal by itself. And that's totally fine. I understand why people don't want to take supplements because, there's a lot of, our food should be our medicine, right? And also there's a lot of junk supplements out there, but, Western medicine is given a really bad rap to taking things. But in this situation, your body needed that extra help. It needed that, it knew that you were kind of probably had a little bit of shock going on. You were in a lot of pain, and there were all these negative emotions going on.
Yeah.
So it knew, I want the energy of that plant to help what's going on. So, there's, we live in an imperfect world. We need supplements sometimes, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I can tell you the audience here, a little bit of testimony. I've had a lot of broken bones. I've had a lot of stitches too. And I'm not really a clumsy person. I just do a lot of stuff and things happen. But when this happened, I thought, oh, it's broken. You just know that feeling. And then we ate lunch and I felt sick to my stomach. Okay, this is typical with a trauma like that. And then I felt like I just want to lay down. I just want to go to bed. And so I left the job site. I came home. Keith had immobilized it with a splint. And I thought, and it's throbbing like crazy. It's really hurting me bad. So I came in, I took 4 aspirin, and I went in and I laid down with my arm up on a pillow, and I fell asleep for 2.5 hours. I was out. And that's not normal. That's not normal in the middle of the day for me. So some reason my body let itself just sleep. And then I got up and all you kids were coming over. We were having a function here at the farm that night. And I was completely disinterested with everything going on. I had no interest in talking with any of you. I was just like, why are these people all here? I think you gave me one of those CBDs though, and it kind of made me a little out there. I just had a big I don't give a damn attitude. And then everybody left, and then here I am wide awake. I'm totally wide awake. But my arm didn't hurt. That was nice. The pain had stopped. The next day I stayed off of it because I had to. I couldn't even pick up a cup of coffee with this hand. I thought I'm gonna wind up getting a cast on this. So I just wrapped it up a little tighter, and then it was yesterday I took it off, and I thought I can deal with this. I still couldn't grip a hammer very good, but today I completely forgot about it. So, and I can feel this. There is still a dent in that bone, but broken bones don't usually, they're not that forgiving. This has
Right.
been very different. So I guess if you were going to instruct somebody how to do this, well, you just did. You just told us what you did.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a
Yeah,
while
and
for
yeah.
the cognitive dissonance to go away, and just for us to realize that it's regenerating itself, but it was much faster than the last time. I actually broke this one once before, actually twice before.
Oh, geez.
When I was a little kid, I broke it. Fell out of a treehouse. Yep.
Oh, geez.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you had a great, and then sometimes people don't have such a great reaction. It kind of depends on, you have probably a very healthy terrain, a very healthy constitution because of the way you eat and your lifestyle. Some people don't bounce back that well, or that fast. And we were not 100% sure it was broken, but I mean, if you've had that feeling before, better, your body, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just it's a little weird, and you did what to me? But the body has all the tools to heal itself, and just kind of giving it a little direction and telling it what to do really is, yeah, it's very, very helpful. And it's been really helpful with our baby Ronin. When he's
Yeah.
screaming, there's something wrong, and I can test him and see what's wrong. Are you hungry? Are you mad? Oh, your stomach hurts. Oh, did we give you a food that we shouldn't have? Okay, well, let's tell your gut to get out the toxins. This is what's going on. And it's a lifesaver. Not exactly sure how I would be handling a baby without it. I don't know how y'all do it out there. But it's just so helpful because it's able to, help him. So he's not sitting there screaming for 3 hours. I can tell what's wrong, and we just tell his body, here's what's going on. Take a deep breath, fix it here. Take some elderberry, take this and this, and it's, yeah, it's just a life changer. So I work with a lot of families, because especially moms that have, 8 kids. I don't know how you guys did it, Mark. It's a lot, but they have, and they're, 3 of them are screaming, everybody's sick, this and this and this. And it's, it's really helpful when there's just a lot going on.
There was this there was this saying that my parents taught to me that worked really well, and people can use this if they want. They would say, if you don't stop crying, I'm going to give you something to cry about. And then they had a stick, and it was the stick, and it had barbed wire wrapped around it and lead weights on it and stuff. And my mother would wield that thing like a billy club. So that was how they brought us up. I didn't have to do that much with my kids. Not much, a little bit, but not much.
That's funny.
Hey, so I got a question with talking to me, with talking to my body. Like I was not cognizant of that when you were doing it, but you did ask permission, and I said yeah, and it was on the phone. Are there any like guardrails there? Like, could you, like, you can't induce like seizures in a person or anything like that. How come?
So, well, what I do is like a positive thing, right? So I'm working
Yeah.
on clearing the negative off of the body. So that's kind of the difference, because I work with a lot of people of, the Christian faiths, and that are very like, what are you doing? This sounds of the devil, this sounds pretty. And there's a difference. It's not psychic. It's not, fortune telling. And fortune telling is a big one that is very, a lot of people are like, could you ask my body when I'm going to get healed? Could you ask my body when I should eat my superfood thing? Like, no, it's, so there's the muscle testing. A lot of people get into problems with muscle testing because they try to tell the future, and to, to fortune tell, to, when am I going to become a millionaire? And you're like, that's not what it's for. It's for, it's for asking your body, what is going on right now? What do you need help with? What do you need, what do you need nutrient wise?
Yeah.
So no, I can't do those things. I kind of personally believe, I am on the, the positive side of that end. There are people out there that can do those things, I guess. But no, that's not what I do. So it is more of, health benefit. It's not, I'm not trying to do anything crazy. But yeah, some people I know, Jim are like, it's your voodoo. And I'm like, no, voodoo is all negative. This is the positive side to energy healing. So there's positive energy, there's negative energy. I go with the positive, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if it just stands to reason that if you could ask it to heal, but maybe you couldn't ask it because it doesn't seem like our bodies are self-destructive. So maybe you would be asking the body to do something that it's not really designed to do, to self-destruct.
So
I
there
would
are
think.
things. So we as people have the ability to hurt each other, though. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of the things that we work on and clear off the people. There's something called saboteurs, which is strong negative energies that come at you from other people. So sometimes you'll wake up in the morning and you'll just be like, I am having a terrible day. I'm in a terrible mood. I'm really upset and I'm really irritated and no one talked to me. And you're just upset and angry for no reason.
Yeah.
I'll get a text, hey, I'm just feeling this way. What's going on? Oh, you have a saboteur. So that just means someone or is negatively thinking about you. Sometimes there is witchcraft out there. Some people do that. And I'm trying to project all this negative, energy at people because like I'm really jealous or I'm really mad. But most of the time it's, man, that Mark guy, he has a really sweet Jeep. I really wish I had that. Ugh, I'm really jealous. I really want that. I'm just going to sit here and stew about that for a minute. That energy comes at you, and your body, if it's strong and in a good place and prepared for it, can say, no, I don't want that. Sometimes people pray, okay, I don't want anyone's negative junk coming at me. But sometimes we're in a weak spot, we're vulnerable, we're already upset, and the energy comes upon us, and that's called, you have a saboteur, and you can have a more than one of them. So then when I clear your body, okay, body, get off the saboteur. We can figure out who it is. Okay, this person is saboteuring. It's probably just jealousy. It's usually subconscious. You feel so much better. It usually takes a couple minutes and you're like, oh, wow, cool.
Hmm.
Nice. I can have a good day now. That's something that's sometimes it really freaks people out because they're like, oh no, is the person trying to kill me? No, it's usually just negative emotions. We are all energetic beings and all have the capability to negatively affect everybody. So someone walks into the room with a bad mood, you instantly know, right? You're instantly like, oh, that person's grumpy.
Yeah.
I can totally, I can
Sure.
totally tell. And me, I'm like, I want to stay away from that person. Like, I don't need that junk.
Yeah.
So that is something that is a big one that we clear. Because usually, and then the more, clients that I have that work with me weekly, they'll start to be able to they'll be like, I feel like I have a saboteur. Something is off in my energy. And the more we work with people, the more in tune they become with themselves. Because most people right now, most people don't want to hear this. They're very shut down, and they're very shut down emotionally and energetically. Their bodies they don't know how to be in touch with their emotions. They don't know how to be in touch with their energy. So, a lot of the times we'll be, oh, I'm good. I'm pretty good. And then they'll start working with me and they'll start crying. Oh my God, I am not over all of these things. My dad yelled at me when I was 4 and I'm still holding on to it and I'm crying, and these things because our bodies are just shut down. We don't know how to deal with all of this junk that's come at us from other people. Um, so it's just like a huge way. And the more we start to work, the more you start to open up and you start to feel and you start to notice, I feel like something's off with my energy. I think I have a saboteur. Or I think another one is called a courting. You could be courted with people. Um, and that's when you bond with someone. Say someone comes over to the farm and he was also in the Air Force and he has all of this negative junk because he's not in a good place. And he's sitting there with you, Mark, and he's like, I'm in a really bad spot, but I'm just so glad that you're here for me. I really appreciate you, this and this. You both kind of bond energetically because you've had a lot of the same traumas, and you can actually energetically cord to people. And that means you're attached energetically, which
Huh.
seems like it could be a good thing, right? How you guys bonded, you guys, had that good little moment there, but now you're hooked to each other. So you
Yeah.
can the next day be feeling all of his junk because now you're energetically connected to people. This is another one that kind of freaks people out, and it's very common. Babies cord to us all the time. I want my mom. I just want her. I really, really need her. And that's another thing that you have to say, okay, we need to sever this cord. Mark does not want to be holding on to so-and-so's energy and all of this junk. Um, and that's a very, very common one that happens with family members too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We got you audio, but we don't have video
Yeah,
somehow.
Joe's trying to fix it. I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay.
Oh well. Hopefully it'll pop back up here in a second.
Hey, is there any correlation between um, energy healing and prayer?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So I am very big on prayer and affirmation work. So
Yeah.
positive affirmations, that's another kind of woo woo thing. All right, Joe's not able to get me back up there, but I'll just keep talking.
All right.
That's another thing. So, everything is energy, right? So positive words are positive energy, negative words are negative energy. So, if you're praying every morning, I'm asking, whoever, we'll just say, God, I'm asking him to protect me from anyone's negative energy. I'm asking to have a great day. Those are positive things that you're bringing into your energy. So that's why so many people feel comfortable and feel very, they feel safe and happy when they go to church. I'm not saying it's not because of what's going on in church, but there's so much positivity. They're singing in positive things. We praise and love and peace and happiness. Um, that's a really, your body feels that on every level, and we might not even understand that, but it comes in, and then you're in a really negative situation. Everyone's dropping the F-bomb and really negative, and oh my God, my old lady's doing this, and life just sucks. Like, you don't feel good. No one wants to be in that
Yeah.
conversation. And the more open and in tune with your body you get, you'll notice, I don't even want to be around those people. I got to get out of here. Like, these people are just negative. And, so prayer is huge. Because it's you connecting your energy with the higher power. So it's really good. Affirmations, I'm big on affirmations, which a lot of people think are, well, those are just for, really weak, sensitive people. And verbally saying out,
Yeah.
I am strong, I am powerful, they're huge. They've done all of those studies on, if they speak love to the plants and they speak love to the water, like, it does different things with the molecules of the water. And that's the same exact with people. And huge with kids, huge with your family. If you're constantly like, oh my gosh, you're so stupid, why aren't you learning? You're not focusing right now, why are you doing this wrong? That's not helping anything. All that negativity, that's when those kids start getting all those emotions trapped in their body. And obviously that
Huh.
happens, but life, positive words, positive affirmations, they all resonate in the body, whether good or
Hmm.
bad. Yeah.
So, how do you? All right. So let me see if I get this straight. Let's say that your farm kids, they have tasks to do, right? And there's a list of things that they are supposed to do. There's a sequence that it's supposed to be done in, and then there's attention to detail of quite a few details along the way. And let's say that they continually get it wrong. And are you saying that jumping them and telling them how dumb they are and whacking them and all that is a bad thing? Is that what you're saying?
Well, there's definitely a time and a place for getting spanked and all that, for sure.
Yeah.
But if there's a pattern, so the cool thing about working with kids is you'll start to notice a pattern. So, okay, so every day, so and so kid goes out and does the exact same thing, and I tell him he's obviously not hearing me. That could be something going on in his body. He might not be able to hear or even understand what you're saying. He might have some, say before he got yelled at by someone, and it
Yeah.
really traumatized him, and he's terrified of getting yelled at. When he hears you yell now, from now on, he just shuts down and disconnects and can't even hear you, because he doesn't want all those negative feelings to happen again. So that's a huge one, is when kids get traumatized. And I say traumatized, it doesn't have to be, it could be, oh, he yelled at me and it hurt my feelings. That's trauma. He might just disassociate and not be able to hear you. He might just be really stubborn. That's a big one. So sometimes it's just their personality, but there's usually something. If there's patterns in these kids and they're doing the same things over and over and you're having the same problems, there's something in his body or her body we can clear. Whether it's, they just don't feel good, their gut's not good in a good place. They were on their phone and they saw something and they got a bunch of junk from their phone. Kids are so susceptible to phones, which I know you know this, but The junk that's on phones, there's so much negative energy that they don't even know comes from our phones.
Yeah.
I can tell when kids I work with, I can tell if they're on TikTok or not. I don't know what the heck is up with TikTok, but I have to specifically clear off of the body junk that everyone has gotten from TikTok. There's something in the algorithm, something in the energy, and it's terrible. Um, so yeah, TikTok's terrible. I don't know why. Um, but
Could be
so it could be a lot
communism.
of different things, but there's definitely a reason that our kids are doing the same problem over and over and over. And if they're not listening to you, it's usually something. So behavioral behavioral things are very good to work on, energetically wise before they get, before they get too old and then they get stuck in their ways and it's, you know, it's even
Yeah.
harder. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Yeah.
You probably ought to have a look at your husband sometime and find out why he leaves dead chickens out on the field behind the chicken tractors. I mean, that was like 15
Oh,
years ago, but I'm still kind of mad about it.
yeah. So that was something he would just do over and over.
Oh yeah, yeah. He
Yeah.
probably would still be doing it. He would. He
Right.
probably would. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's some kind of disconnect. There's something
Yeah.
causing or not causing him to do that where, yeah, so we could figure it out. And it may be like he doesn't want to go up there and have to see everyone be like, oh no, another chicken died. So his subconscious is like, we'll just leave him out here and then no one will know. There's
That's
something
probably what
there.
it was. That's probably what it was.
Yeah.
I don't mean to make light of what you're talking about because I
No,
think it's
yeah.
true. I know sometimes when a kid does something like I'm walking behind them to see if they're going to do it right and they do it wrong. And I've told them before and then if I do lose my temper with them, like I'm telling them, "Hey, you got to do this right." And they seem to be blowing me off just by their body language. So I'll get a little louder and a little more worked up. And usually after that happens, I don't feel good and they don't feel good. And what really works is if I go up and I just kind of say, I'm sorry. I was out of line yelling at you. I'm really sorry. I wished I hadn't have done that. And then things are better, but I just wished I didn't do it in the first place. I had a little bit of an anger management problem myself from time to time. But so I know that when you say to a kid, you're really doing a good job, but if you would do this better, if you would do this a little better, then you would be perfect. You would be right in the money. You get way better results when you do that. And
Yeah.
I'm about 80-20 on that. I do it more than I used to. I used to fly off the handle quite a bit, and it's probably because of some trauma that happened when I was a little kid. I'm sure of it, but
Yeah.
I don't do that much anymore. I'm pretty good about it.
Right.
So
Well,
is there
good.
what's that?
No, I was just saying, yeah, it's probably something you saw your dad do it, he saw his dad do it, it goes through. And that's another really cool thing with working with people, working with kids specifically, is generational things.
Yeah,
Energy passes through the DNA and the bloodlines. So, say, oh, well, Sam or one of you, the kids, oh, he gets angry just like I do. I don't like that. Oh, it's because it's passed through. And it's just, we are our kids and our kids are our kids, so
yeah.
that's something we can clear too, is, if we don't want it to keep going. So if, that's a fun thing too, to work on.
Huh.
Yeah.
So along those lines, then you're saying that we could a person could work with you for preventative maintenance, to head things off before they become a problem.
Absolutely. Yes. I work with like a lot of, well, several pregnant ladies that are pregnant, and they're like, I don't want my baby to have everything I have. I don't want them to have all this anxiety. I can work with them from the time of conception. As soon as we get a positive pregnancy test, I can start clearing and working on the baby energetically and getting off of all of those generational things. Babies, this is, when they say a baby's not a baby until it's so and so weeks old, I can start clearing energy off the baby when it's like a week old. And
Really?
it's the energetic signature of the baby is there. And the first thing that develops is the heart, but that whole baby, it's there. And I can already start, and sometimes it prevents miscarriage because there's all those energies in there that might prevent it from staying in mom. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I work with a couple ladies just to kind of, yeah, it's preventative for sure. And also it helps them with, it can help them with morning sickness. It can help them with labor and delivery. But it's, yeah, get all of that, things that have come in through the bloodline that they just stay, that the very strong negative energy like goes through the bloodlines for sure. So, and obviously we don't want those to continue. So I worked on Ronin all when he was in my belly. I worked on Ronin. I also had another one of my, the girls I mentored work on him just cause, I was pregnant and kind of grumpy sometimes. So, but absolutely just to try to get ahead of any of this junk.
So how old were you when you maybe started to realize you had sensitivity like this?
Um, Ooh, that's a good point. Well, I always thought something was wrong with me, so that was a fun part of my
I
childhood.
mean, like
Like something's wrong with
like
me.
hypochondria type?
Kind of. I had terrible migraines and didn't know why. A lot of it was my diet, but it's very it's when I get overstimulated. So if I drink too much caffeine and I'm doing too much and I'm running around or I'm with too many people, I'm not paying attention to my own energy and I'm putting out too much, I'd get a migraine or I'd get a headache. I never felt good, but I'm really sensitive to people. So the second someone walks into the room with negative or negativity or a lot of, we just say junk, a lot of energetic, emotional junk on them, I'm instantly like, okay, I gotta protect myself real quick, so I gotta just kind of talk myself through it. But all of my childhood, I had no idea what was going on with me. I was really sensitive, and I could also just see. My parents have a really funny story of this girl that walked into my sister's dance studio, and she had this ridiculous outfit on, and I was like 6 years old and was like, "Well, that girl needs attention, huh?" And I didn't even know but like I just could tell that, that, oh, that person like has a lot of things they have to work on because she just walks in with her whole outfit and everything going on, and I'm like, yeah, that person has a lot of things they're working through. Their energy is really negative. um but when I was, yeah, it probably took until I was around 16 and 18 where I started to develop, started to figure out that I was just different and empathic and could kind of just see things other people can't. And it's a blessing and a curse. It's really hard for me to be around a lot of social situations, which makes me, it's sometimes kind of hard, but I'm able to help a lot of people. So I just got to focus on the, my own positivity. So,
Hmm. So you've turned this sensitivity into a kind of a thriving business. Can you kind of tell us about that? Like, how did
yeah,
that
yeah.
happen? And
So I
you
mean,
know,
obviously anyone can really anyone can muscle test if you figure it out and you can figure it out with your body. Anyone can do body code if they learn. But just the way I am really helps me be able to understand people. Because everyone's probably had that counselor or that therapist in their life when they're sitting there and they're talking to them, and you're like, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Like you're
yeah,
sitting here and you're listening to me and you're scribbling on your notepad, but like you don't know what I'm going through. I feel like you don't hear me. And that's a terrible, terrible feeling when you're sitting there spending $300 an hour or whatever, and the person is not empathizing with you. And I definitely can. It doesn't matter what situation you've gone through. I can feel what you're feeling. I know what you're feeling. And I've been through a ton of traumas myself. Um, and I understand, and that really helps people just know that I understand and I'm here, and I have a lot of grace for you and where you're at. I'm not just trying to get your money. That's why I work with a lot of families, and it's okay if you can't pay me. Give me liver, give me some beef, give me whatever you have. Like I want to help you. um it's your health, and people's well-being is way more important to me than money. And this is why I'm here. This is my purpose. So yeah, so I'm really glad that I found the energy medicine because it resonates a lot more with me and my personality. And I always knew since I was 14, when a naturopath changed my life, I knew I wanted to be a naturopath and help people. But the energy medicine has just let me help so many more people. And then um, through COVID, everything went over the phone and no one was leaving their houses. So I learned how to work over the phone and over FaceTime, over Skype. And that's been great because I can help people. I know like Belva's all the way in Ohio, and I get to talk to Belva. I have a bunch of clients in North Carolina and Indiana. They're all over the place, and I'm able to, just able to meet with them and counsel them. One girl's like about to get engaged. The other two just got pregnant, and it's just super cool. I can touch all these people's lives and then mine too. I love talking to them, and
Yeah.
So it's wonderful because I can work well with having Ronin so far because he can be playing while I'm working. So yeah, it's a great homestead business for me.
Yeah, it seems like a good fit for the homestead. Seems like a real good fit because you
Mhm.
get to be in a nice environment, and so you can kind of take care of yourself in the homestead environment.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of, I didn't really realize it until a couple of days ago, but I was like, wow, like I knew we were off grid, but there's a website, I think it's called emfantennas.com. And you can type in your address and they'll tell you exactly how many antennas, how many Wi-Fi, 5G, how many routers, how many everything EMF related is in your house or in your area, like in your neighborhood affecting you. And I think we have one,
Yeah.
which is cool. I see someone on the group chat says they only have one too. And I looked where we used to live in Cleveland, and it was 747
Wow.
different forms of antennas. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I didn't really put it together that, like, yeah, we're off grid. We use solar, this and this, but we're pretty grounded, which is cool. So I'm able to, like, work and live in that. And, like, Ronin, I'm like, wow, Ronin has, like, never really even been in an area that we used to live. Like, oh my gosh. So,
One of the things that we live by here at the Anyone Can Farm Institute for Continued Education is if you do the thing, you will have the power. If you don't do the thing, you will not have the power. So um, there's been several things that you and I have talked about, and it appears anyway that you kind of looked into it and you're running with it. And one of them, of quite a few, was grounding. And it seems like it's something that I feel like I want to bring up now, so you could kind of explain that. And how does that fit in to all of this?
yeah, that's a great question. And this is a hard one. I have a couple clients that it's really hard. I don't have time to ground, and it's really important. So grounding is, you can go outside with your bare feet, get into the earth. It's you getting grounded to the energy of the earth. Okay, so you can go outside with your bare feet, and your bare feet conduct your energy to the energy of the earth, and it helps detox you, it helps relax you, it kind of just tunes you back into where we're all supposed to be. None of us, not it's not really conducive in the world we live in, but we're really not supposed to wear shoes. We're not supposed to have all of these barriers between us and the earth.
Yeah.
So grounding, it's really good for your health. It brings a lot of peace. A lot of people do their meditation outside because they feel that good energy of the earth coming into their body. Again, some people are really shut down energetically, emotionally, so they go outside. I don't feel anything. I just hugged a tree for 10 minutes and I don't feel anything. Well, we got a lot to unpack. We got to fix your body a little bit. But going out, and why are people so happy when they're gardening? Because they're out, their hands are in the soil, their feet are in the soil, they're with the plants. The energy of the plants is making their stress go away. It's, the ions in the air. You know there's a lot of things that grounding is so good for, but it's mainly really great for stress. That's a great way for stress.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the other way that I love to do. Yeah, obviously going barefoot. There's those, I sent you those shoes on Amazon. There's shoes you can get that help you ground, that conduct you to the earth, because all of the rubber, the rubber shoes, it all just, separates us from the grounding
Insulated.
of the earth. Yeah. So there's these ones, and they're super ugly, but I got them. They're on their way. But they have a way that they can, when you're standing, it conducts your energy to the earth. Hugging trees. This is probably not a great thing to talk about. This is a little really goofy, right?
Why not?
But
Why not?
trees are energy. And like all the the hippies in the 60s really ruined a lot of things for everybody, because they just went a little too far with it. But but like trees are energy, and trees, what do they have that's vital for their living? They have the roots that go deep into their earth, right? So all of the minerals and the nutrients and everything that they're going deep into the earth and bringing up, that's in their energy. All of our food these days is super nutrient deficient. We don't get as much nutrients from our food. We're all really deficient in our minerals and everything. Those trees, they go deep down into the earth and they bring it up. So a lot of people feel really good when they just sit with their back to a tree. You don't have to hug it. You don't have to hum. You don't have to talk to it. But that tree is energy. Sit by it. When you do your daily devotional, just, sit by it and see if you feel any better. And it's doing something. Just because you don't feel it doesn't mean it's not doing anything. But the energetic signature of that tree is really grounding. So, and all plants have it. So, yeah, grounding's huge. There's grounding mats. That was a big thing. As soon as we, so we were in, an apartment in Cleveland. I think there was 89 different smart meters in our apartment beaming into our brains. And the first thing we did was get a grounding mat, which I think I sent you. And so a grounding mat is, it's a mesh mat that you put a wire to and you ground it through your the outlet on the wall. And we just sat on it. We put one on our bed. So at least when we were sleeping, we weren't getting all of that, EMFs and that negative energy. We were grounded while we were sleeping. And I would have a headache when I was not on it, and I would sit on it, and 5 minutes later it would be gone. And everyone's like, "You're doing what? What are you sitting on? That looks like a screen door." And I was like, "You know what? It's great." And I feel different. So yeah. Grounding is huge. Yeah. But it's hard. Like, who has time to go sit by a tree? A lot of moms don't have time, but we gotta, all these things are really important. We have to make it a priority to teach our kids to do this, to go outside with us. Come on, baby. We can all go sit by the tree. We can all go sit on the ground.
Yeah. Well, the thing about like the American Medical Association, their information is they give you data, they give you stats. And when you hear those stats, you say, oh, gee, some real smart guys have run extensive tests on this. And of course, they can't say anything that's not true. And so you just kind of go with it, But I think if we had extensive tests that going without shoes on conductive ground for 15 minutes a day lowered this and this and this and increased this and this, and we had some good stats, I think people would say, oh, I got time to do that. I got plenty of time to do that, or sleeping on a grounded mat.
Yeah, and there's lots of good info out there, but I'm not sure if it's necessarily like clinically proven, but a lot of the websites where you can buy the grounding mats and the house units that help ground your house, and they have a lot of good studies. But yeah, it would be a lot better if CNN would come out and let everyone know to go barefoot, which isn't going to happen.
I found out about it because I was looking at my my YouTube feed. I wanted to listen to something while I was working, and then there was this doctor talking about grounding, and when I looked at it, I thought, yeah, I really need to hear about that, and I'd never considered it before, but when I saw it, it's sort of like when I look at Reese's peanut butter cups, it was like, yeah, I need that. I want to find out about that. And then I mentioned it to you. It made sense to me, and maybe a little anecdotal evidence here from an old airplane mechanic, but on airplanes, we have two things. We have static dissipators off the back of the wing and off the back of the vertical stabilizer. And it's just this little, sometimes it's just a little piece of cable about that long that hangs backwards. And when static builds up in the airframe as it's going along through the air, then it can dissipate out the back, and you'll actually see them spark out the back, right? And the idea is to dissipate as much static electricity off that airframe as possible, so that when you get down to the ground, the airplane would be sitting on rubber tires that would insulate that airframe from the ground. And so the first person that steps from the stairway to the ground and is touching both, it could discharge through them. And people have actually been killed when there was some sort of problem with the static dissipators. Also, there's a ground static strap that hangs down and actually touches the ground. So as soon as the landing gear comes down, that touches. And then, there's another layer of protection is like on big airplanes, when they push the jetway over to you, they're grounding the jetway to the ground and then to the airframe, especially when fueling, you do the same thing.
Right.
Yeah. So that, we know that static builds up, and who hasn't been in a house in the wintertime and you walk around on the carpet and then you touch some kid on the end of the nose and it
Yeah.
shocks them,
Yeah.
So, although I
Yeah.
haven't seen that much lately. It used to be my parents' house. It was great. If anybody fell asleep on the couch, shock them right on the lip.
That's so funny.
I haven't done
Yeah.
that for a long time.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Have you got something else to say? Because we're close on time. I don't want to keep you too long.
Just the last thing. So I
Yeah.
do for Tribe Day, and the Tribe Day is July 8th, 8th and 9th.
Yep,
I
8th and
have
9th.
okay. Yeah, I'm donating a free session for the Tribe
Okay.
Day. So
Excellent.
that's like a free consult and a free session. So that will be available there too, just so y'all know. And I will be there. I'll be there and on Skillshare Day to to talk and answer questions. And for Skillshare Day, I'll be sharing. I use a new vibrational tool, probably that I'll be using on your arm soon once it's healed a little more. And it uses just another healing tool. Which we can talk
so
about
if people want to contact you for a consult, is that something that you welcome?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. So I'll be at Tribe Day, obviously, but Northwoods Natural Solutions, I'm on Instagram, and I'll be in the show notes too. But I'm in Instagram and Facebook, and yeah, I have contact me, text, call, anything. Yeah, for sure.
I think one of these days we'll have an office for you over here so you could see patients in person over here.
That sounds great.
And then they would buy chicken and milk from us before they leave.
Right? And lots of lard. Yeah.
Hey, I'm not kidding. I think that the homesteads should become centers for people to come and get what they need, because you're coming here if you're getting food. Well, if I can get a haircut at the same time, that'd be a good idea.
Right.
And why couldn't we have somebody cutting hair? I mean, you could be naturopath / energy healer / barber, So yeah, go see Faye. She can give you a phlebotomist as well, or you could be a multi-skilled person like me.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I'm down. Yeah, we're all in this together. Yeah.
Yeah. And for those of you that don't know, I am checked out on midwifery, quite proficient at midwifery. I've delivered quite a few babies, and usually my daughters-in-law, they are briefed that your father-in-law can deliver your baby, and it freaks some of them out when I say that, but I think it was you too, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably.
You had to go to Colleen and say, "Is he serious?"
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
pitch.
Maybe if I would have had you do with Ronin, it would have all been a different story.
It probably would have, because I had to give you something to cry about.
Right?
Yep.
Maybe he would have gotten here on time. Yeah.
Yeah, I offered one of our troughs, our cattle troughs that we feed or we water our cattle with. I offered one of those to Joe so he could allow Faye to use it to have a water birth in. And I said, this will be awesome, because then when you give it back to me and my cows are drinking out of it, I'll be able to tell my people that come visit the farm, you see that trough right there? My grandson was born in that trough. That would have been some serious bragging rights right there.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had already had the pool at that point, and I think Joe thought you were kidding, though. That would be funny. That would have been a good story.
I don't know as I was, because you were looking for the tub, and I said, hey, use this Rubbermaid, boy. This is really
right.
No, I think I had an effect on you because you were talking about having the baby over at your sister's house. And I said, are you kidding? You're going to give up the bragging rights of having a baby in the yurt? That is no, don't do it. You'll regret it. You'll kick yourself.
Right. Yeah. Midwives were not necessarily happy, but they pushed through about us having it bigger. We're trying
Fire
to have-
them. I work
Yeah.
for half of what they'll work for.
Right.
Yeah.
Aw.
Okay. Usually what I do is I cut you loose and then I talk to my peeps here for a couple minutes.
Okay.
We're going to
Sounds
talk a little
good.
bit about Tribe Day and things like that. So
Wonderful.
if you don't mind,
Yeah. Thanks for
say
having
goodnight to the
me.
nice people.
Yes. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Oh, you bet. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. It's always easy talking to you.
Oh, good.
Okay. Good night, Faye.
All right. Bye. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay. Good interview. I enjoyed that. So, at first glance, a lot of this stuff really, because we're trained, we're brought up into the medical community, and anybody that's outside of the medical community is kind of like, nah. But I've always had a little bit of a soft spot for alternative medical things. When I, oh, welcome. Dog just came in. When I was in the Air Force, I had sciatic nerve problems, and I'm going to kick this dog out because he's going to lick himself while he's here. Yep. Out you go. And I went to a doctor on base. He was a good doc. Dr. Kohut, Major Kohut, later Lieutenant Colonel Kohut. He was a good doc for sure, but his point of view was definitely American Medical Association, and there wasn't much he could do. I had sciatic nerve damage, and I had this wicked pain going down, across my butt cheek and then down into my leg. And it was from an injury that I had. I jumped off the back of a ammunition carrier, actually, and I had a pack on my back, and it was pretty heavy. And I slid a couple inches and then came to an abrupt stop. And the next day, I literally couldn't get out of my cot. And I was sleeping in a tent with a bunch of people that I didn't even know. And I was like, and everybody's getting up and going. And I'm like, uh-oh, I've got problems here. And I never did get out of that cot that day. I couldn't. And it was a very traumatic thing, actually. It was in the midst of an airplane that had gone down, right? So anyway, I went and saw this doc for a long time at the base, and he gave me Vicodin, Oxycontin, Motrin, a lot of stuff. And it went on for a long time. And I thought that it's over. Because the pain was so bad, I couldn't even wait in line at a store, And I went to see a chiropractor, and it was really a rinky-dink office. And he x-rayed me, and he says, "You can see it right there. You've got a bulging disc, and it's pressing on whatever, S3. And we're going to see if we can push that back into place." And so he did, but it didn't stay. And so I had to go see him twice a week. And back then, the Air Force wouldn't pay for any of that. But the Air Force's idea was, well, we'll get you another MRI. And then from the MRI, well, about the best we can do is fuse that. So we'll have to take that vertebrae and split it in half. Of course, we got to be real careful with your spinal cord because, you could wind up, And I was almost like, well, if that's what you got to do. But then when they said, well, we can't get it from the backside, we got to go in from here. So we're going to have to lay your guts out on the table and go in and get it done. I think he was trying to scare me out of it, but I was in so much pain. I couldn't do anything. And going to see this chiropractor, unfortunately, it started to heal after I had left that base and gone to my next base. And it actually did start to heal, and I do not have that problem anymore. So I have a soft spot when it comes to alternative medicine, and the energy thing, that seemed a little out there. It really did. But then when we talked with Faye the last time, and she was mentioning some of these things, okay, kind of set in. And I probably would not have called her the other day. Like, I think my arm's broken, but it was either that or go to urgent care. And I really wanted her to tell me, nope, it's not broke. And so I could just stay where I was. Like, somehow I don't want to go, but she didn't actually say it's not broke. She said, well, it looks kind of like a sprain. But later on, I was able to feel that, oh, I've got a dent in the bone. And I knew it is what I had. And right now it's still tender right there. But yeah, we're doing okay. So there's something to that. And the lines between, I guess it would be traditional medical care and this latest medical care that's out there. I mean, the lines have become very sharp now in my mind, because it was our good licensed doctors who refused to raise the flag and say, hey, something's wrong here. This last go around we had with the Wu flu. So my trust in them is not good. And who's really running the show? It's not good. So I think we would always go naturopath first, or that direction first, and then AMA second, if we even went AMA. Of course, to get an X-ray or something like that, going to the emergency room makes a lot of sense, right? But beyond that, it almost seems like they're drumming up business a lot, and I don't like that. So anyway, Faye is my daughter-in-law, and if you want to get some more information about this, you can either come to Tribe Day and meet up with her at Tribe Day. Skill Sharing Day is going to be Sunday, and that's going to be a day when we allow people to just set up wherever they want to, but mostly at the campground, and they can set up a pop-up tent and they can show off what they do. And then you'll be able to walk around and, oh yeah, I mean, that would be a really good way to show your business off, a good way to interact with people. And then if you are looking for services, it'd be a good way to, find the services that are out there that you really want to know about. That's always helped me. If I can talk to somebody and they say, oh yeah, I can do this, and you can talk to them, you have a better idea whether they are actually able to do what they say they're able to do. So, and I think we're going to have some real interesting things. We have the wool spinners that are coming. I think we were asked today if the wool spinners could come and just set up an area where they're going to spin wool. So I think that'll be kind of neat. Let's see. Okay, so maybe there was a little bit of anxiety in my being, because I'm getting ready for Tribe Day as we speak. I'm actually heading back out now, and I'm putting a roof on a barn that we just put up for the 7th, which is the Nick Ferguson Day. We're going to be talking about tree foddering systems. Should be really, really cool. And I was a little worried because we've got the trusses up, we've got the poles up, we've got everything ready to go, but we've got to put the steel on top. And so I got to do that this Saturday. If anybody wants to come and help on Saturday, I think that would be really cool. If anybody wants to come and help us push steel up on the roof and get it screwed down, I should be good to go by then. It doesn't look very swollen. Really doesn't look swollen at all. It looked pretty bad. Looked pretty bad there. And let's see what else. I've got a few other things that I have to get done, but excellent. Okay, let's see what we got here. We've got Inga says some chiropractors use muscle testing. Okay. Yeah. Hildy, do you have smoke in your area from the Canadian fires? We are here in Wisconsin, have lots of smoke in our area from Canadian. Yeah. Yeah, we do. If that's where it's from. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, Hildy, thanks. Gave us a super chat. $1.99. Right on. We haven't had any super chats lately. If anybody wants to donate to the building fund, you can sure do that. I could sure use the help on that. Yeah, I'm looking to build a tiny house. Could your lumber friend help? You sure could. As a matter of fact, Inga, we are going to be doing a tiny home build on Tribe Weekend. So they're going to have the kit here on Friday and get it all ready to go. And then Saturday morning, I believe Saturday morning, they're going to start whacking it together. So this is a great opportunity to come and watch this go up before your very eyes, because they say they can have it up in 2 days. This is Aaron, the Barn Geek Esh, and Parker, the wood milling fool Holmes. And they're collaborating. Actually, I collaborated with them too, because they're building it on my place, and I guess I'm paying for it. I guess I am. So, but they're giving me a little time to get it paid for. And then we're going to rent it out. So hopefully we will start a tradition of every year, every year we're going to build a new small structure at the campground. And then, you'll be able to come and rent that. And I think it would be really cool. So Inga, come on up Saturday and you can help us with steel, and then make sure that you're here on Tribe Weekend, and you can stay in a tent over there and watch that build happen. Heck, you could even throw down with those guys. They would love to have the help. Seems to me that Kavi Bali, my man Covington, says he'll be there on steel duty. Right on. Covey is our guy that's interning from Raleigh, North Carolina. And I found out some really interesting facts today. I did not know this. I was kidding. But Covey's, let's see, his nationality is Indian, right? And so I was kidding him, and I said, yeah, what tribe you from? And he's like, no, India, from India. And then come to find out that when Columbus came to the United States, he thought he was going to India. Now, this is according to Kavi, and he would know because he's Indian. He thought he was going to India, showed up on Plymouth Rock, and these guys came out of the woods, with feathers and tomahawks and stuff. And he says, well, those must be Indians. And so that's why they called them Indians. I never knew that. I was just joking. I just thought, and I don't know why. Coincidence, people from India are called Indians, and people from the Navajo tribe are Indians. What a coincidence. I never thought about it much. But anyway, we joke around. We were doing chicken processing today, and we processed 130 of those bad boys. Inga says, thanks to Aaron and Parker's names, I'm interested in the cost of a 12 by 24. Well, I tell you what, if you come, you will be able to talk to both of those individuals, and the package that they're building is a 12 by 16. So you'll be able to see what that looks like. And we will have a price on the lumber. So we will know the price of the plans, the price of the lumber, and then you have to consider, building, like Inga, you're a pretty stout gal. I'm sure that you could wield a hammer. Well, Inga, come on. You have markets on Saturday. Ditch them. I mean, come on. This is Tribe Day. You can't You can't, ditch the markets. Your kids will be here. Pawn it off on somebody else, some other flunky. Creek Farmer, CNN, ha ha ha. What a good one. CNN. Who said anything about CNN? I don't know. All right. If there's anything else, all right. Well, okay. You can follow up with Aaron, probably Aaron, the Barn Geek Esh, Aaron Esh at barngeek.com. That'd be a good place to start. The other guy is Parker Holmes, and it's homesteadprovisions.com. All right. And then if you need help getting the numbers, like on the build that we're doing, hey, tell you what, you're going to want, I tell you where you're going to be able to get the most information on this. Joe is going to have a camera, a time lapse. I'm hoping anyway, a time lapsed camera going to show the build. And we're going to post it on Tribe Plus with the plans. And no, we can't put the plans. The plans belong to Aaron. You have to pay Aaron for them. And it's Aaron, like Aaron, like Aaron, And the wood, obviously, that comes from Homestead Provisions, so you have to buy that from him. But he can deliver, and I think it won't be long before there will be a crew that will be able to put those buildings up. And we may, how the Amish do it? They build mini barns. Well, how come we're letting the Amish have all the fun? Why don't we build mini barns? But we could build really nice mini barns. There's our cheesy. Who'd want to live in an Amish mini barn? Oh, I know. The Amish have a saying, we can do it cheaper. But who wants to live in a cheaper mini barn? Okay. Creek Farmer, pushing wind. Creek Farmer? Yeah, like, what are you talking about there, Creek Farmer? You said CNN, ha ha ha. That was a good one. CNN, ha ha ha. Pushing winds, saying, what? All right, Inga, we're here to serve. Don't check with the Amish. Do business with the tribe. The Amish aren't going to do business with you. See, this is the whole thing of the tribe. Do business within the tribe. I know Amish do stuff cheap, but man, if you can find somebody that's in our community, that's where you want your money to go. If you invest your money in the Amish community, it doesn't ever bounce back to you. Like, I want to do business with the Barn Geek because someday I want to buy plans off of him to build another barn here, like an event barn. Or, if someday me and Jill trade this farm off for a shrimp boat, after that, we're probably going to want to move to a small house. So I may need to buy wood from Parker, and I'll probably be out in Oregon by then. I want those guys to be in business. If the Amish, they're like gypsies anyway. They move all over the place. They're never there for very long. I got nothing against them. It's just that it doesn't benefit us if we do business with them. It's like doing business with Walmart. You're just sending your money over to China, Not that the Amish are Chinese, but I was talking with somebody today. There's an Amish guy that's having problems with the Michigan Department of Agriculture, right? And so they called me for, not him. He didn't call me. No, some sympathetic lady calls me and says, can you help? And I said, well, I'd like to, but they never follow through with any of the things that you need to do. And you have to play hardball with these people. And I said, they probably want you to just wave a magic wand. And there's more to it than that if you were going to back people off. And I said to her, how many Amish people do you know who've ever served in the military protecting your constitutional rights? None. So how many Amish people do you know that flourish in communist countries? Zero. None do. They'd never get away with the nonsense that they pull in a communist country just because they claim a religious exemption. They'd never get away with that. What they get away with here is unbelievable. Like if I want to take a black buggy, painted black, and run it on the highway with vehicles that are doing 70, they would be pulling me over and pulling me out and checking my pulse is what they'd be doing. But the Amish do it all the time. And then when some poor guy runs over a whole family of them, it's like, oh, it's the Lord's will. Baloney. That's irresponsible, dangerous behavior. But because it's some religious group, they get away with it. I don't think it's right. I think they should be limited to secondary roads, period. And if they get on the county highway, they need to be ticketed, just like I would be if I decided to take a horse and buggy down the road. It's just, and I got nothing against them. They're fun to yuck it up with, but let's do business amongst each other first. Okay. Oh, you didn't buy Amish, hence why you're checking with me. Okay, sorry. Well, you started a rant, then I go on the rant, and then you say, well, you didn't. Okay. I just wanted to rant anyway. Okay, pushing wind. I was modding for another channel. Moderating. Oh, I see. Oh, so you're a certified moderator, huh? Okay. All right. Well, we're officially 11 days out from Tribe Day. I got a powerful lot to do. We did butcher chickens today, so I, didn't get much of what I had to do done. And yeah, still got quite a lot to do. But we usually get as much as we can done, and there's a lot of times that we have a lot of people here, and some projects are just halfway done. But that's just the way it is. We can only do what we can do, and we still have fun. So it doesn't matter all that much. But we do need that building done for Nick Ferguson for the group that we're going to have in there. So hopefully we get it done. All right, I'm going to get going. We do have a consulting call tomorrow night, Zoom call. If you are a Tribe Plus member, which you should be, which I need you to be to keep this ministry going, to support this ministry, go to theanyonecanfarmexperience.com and look for Tribe Plus, sign up. 14 cents a day. 14 cents a day. And you will get in-person consulting twice a month, Wednesday Zoom call. Outstanding time we have. I always look forward to it. And also you get a lot of manufacturers' discounts, all the information that we keep behind the paywall, the good stuff, right? All the stuff that's on the other side, that's just for the peasants. But the good stuff, you got to pay 14 cents a day. But it's for a good cause, and it helps us keep this going. We want to pass on as much material as we can, but in order to make that material and keep it coming, we need help with it, right? So if you're given mix, I suggest that you give money to the Anyone Can Farm Experience Tribe Plus, and then just hone your skills as far as homesteading. Hey, Mark, we already watched your fencing video. Watch it again, because I strategically give signs in there, and you really need to watch it several times. Sometimes there'll be a little figurine in a certain place. There'll be a number sequence that will be in the background, and you won't notice it unless you're on about your third or fourth or fifth time of watching me build a fence. then when you get done, you're totally checked out. And, you come to Tribe Day and take me aside and say, I'd really like to get certified. And I'll say, well, how many times have you watched the video? Are you a Tribe Plus member? And you say, well, no. Say, well, okay, get that Tribe Plus membership under your belt, and then we can get you certified. Certifications, there is a minimum bar that has to be met. And without the Tribe Plus membership, come on. I mean, come on. What do you can't expect, your skill and merit to be the only thing. There's certain things that you need to, sequences that you need to do. All right. Okay. So you want the certification? Tribe Plus. Sign up. Come on. Let's get this. Really need this to happen. And then on Tribe Day, you can ask for a practical examination, and I can sign you off. And then you're certified. What does a certification really mean anyway? A lot of times I make fun of certifications, but the BGA, Baker's Green Acres certification, especially with the anyone can farm endorsement on the end of it, it opens doors for you. It really does. And it helps you build fences too and butcher chickens. So it's there if you want it. In order to up your game as far as homesteading. Well, I just made a video and it was kind of a funny one. Actually, Joe tells me what he wants me to do, and then I make it. Usually it's just all over the place, but then he edits it. And the latest one was about the Baker's Green Acres certified design of, the chicken tractor. What is it? The Generation 5 722. I put a number on it, just goofing around. And it was pretty funny. I thought it was pretty funny. And it's some videos really take off. There was one on there with 103,000 videos that I made a week ago or something. Joe put it up a week ago. And it was about, I was being serious. I said, there's a lot of talk out there about poor quality food, whether it's GMOs or lab-grown meats. How much does lab-grown meats cost anyway? Like, is it more economical to grow it in a lab than it is to feed a chicken on the field? Like, it can't be cheaper, I wouldn't think, unless the Amish are doing it. And will the Amish get, there's the question for you. Are the Amish going to get into lab-grown meat? An Amish lab. Yeah, I can see it now. They're probably the guys that are doing it right as we speak. But, oh yeah, this video. I mean, it was from the heart, right? And I said, don't call your congressman. What for? You think your congressman is going to stop lab-grown meat or, pesticides going on? No, all that stuff is happening for a reason, and it's usually greed, right? So by homesteading, you kind of pull yourself away from the system. Grow your own. Quit your whining and grow your own. It'll be good for you to do, and you'll get a better quality of food that will enhance this regenerative body that we have here. So when you have injuries, they will heal. Like my broken arm, it heals from the inside. It healed from the inside. Yeah, Kavi's right. He's saying here, Creek Farmer says, so glad that you guys did this tonight. Pushing wind. Okay, funny. Yeah, the certification helps build chicken tractors too, right? Kavi came to us just I wouldn't say that he was challenged as far as mechanical things. I wouldn't say that, but he struggled plugging in the extension cord, until I had him read the directions on it, on how to plug it in. Just never had done that before. And now he's actually very close to his chicken tractor building certification. He's close. He's not there. He's close. But this is my intern, and he's pretty good. But like we were talking about raising children on the homestead, interns. I have this really cool management modality, should I say? Technique, should I say. So Kavi is on the property next door by the campground. And the valve for the water is over here. So when I ask him to do something, I'm really saying, you do it or I'll shut the water off. And you know I will. So it's going to work really well with interns in the future. I'm thinking about the circuit breaker box that's over there. I'm going to have that moved over here into the house here. So, if stuff isn't getting done on time, I can just shut the electricity off and the water. Yeah, that'll be cool. Life over there with no fan. You bet they'll fall in line then. Yeah, and if that doesn't work, I'll bring out the stick. Okay, we should all certify each other. Many certificates on the wall that way. Yeah, I'm certified in all kinds of stuff. And you know what is really good, Inga? If you can get to the point that I am at, if you can somehow raise yourself to the level that I am at, it takes a few things. Like you notice the uniform that I wear. It's got my name on it. It's got the official patch, the Baker's Green Acres patch. You see that? I mean, so that's a very official. I'm working on an American flag that I'm going to put on this side. Going to put a little start with some hash marks over here. The number of chickens that I've killed. Yeah, I'm working on that. But what you want to work towards is the certification that I hold that is above all certifications that you could possibly hold. And it is a self-certification. So it used to be, in order to get certified in some of these things that I'm certified on, like midwifery and, corn planting and chicken butchering. And I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I used to have to talk to my wife and get her to certify me on these. And then we would have to get somebody to certify her. And if nobody else was available, I'd have to certify her so she could certify me. But I'm at the point right now where I have set the standard for certification. And if I meet the standard that I set, then I can actually certify myself. Yeah. So as quickly as I can write out a certification paper and a plaque on the wall, I can get myself certified on it. Yep. So when you come here on Tribe Day, I'll bring you into my office and show you all my certifications. And it's kind of good. And we can dole out the certifications for you as well. Of course, there is, a little bit of a certification fee. So anyway, I got to get going. Enough joking around. Appreciate it. This Thursday night, is there an interview? I don't know. My secretary hasn't brought me up to speed on that. Of course, I haven't seen her since she put dinner in front of me a couple hours ago. So I'll check with her when I see her tonight under the covers. Okay, good night, everybody. Remember, anyone can farm.